Okay, what's up, everyone? I know it's been a while since I've done one of these more formal videos. Just been doing the shorts lately. Got my coffee pot brewing over there, so if you hear something whistle or make a lot of noise, that's what it is. You shouldn't, though. I got my cool microphone on today. I'm going to talk about a couple things. First off, dealing with the haters. When people hate on you on social media, why is it or is it not important to engage with someone? Should you get caught up emotionally with it? And some things some bits of advice. And then number two, which is not really associated with the haters, but it's going to be kind of a parallel to it, which is the idea that what you do, you have to do for you. And in the training process, that's so difficult at times. But I'll talk about the haters first. So I posted a video and people saw my head full of hair and they were like, oh my gosh, you're so old looking, which kind of started this whole thing. And then people started to comment about, oh, you're not going to make the NBA, which I don't think I'm going to make the NBA. I'm trying to make a professional roster, which is not isolated to the NBA. They go on to say things, you're not that good, your shot's not good, you're not blah, 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 whatever, all the noise. And this is the interesting fact. So when someone comes across my page, they come across it in a certain period of time that they have no reference to before or after. So they might see my post that might be from a week ago. They might not have seen the past week of stuff I've done, the past 3 years of stuff I've done. They just see that one small piece. And then, they have all right to do it, to comment whatever negative thing they want to comment. It is my job to understand where they're coming from. Is it okay to respond? I think it's totally fine to respond as long as you're not emotionally burdened by it. If someone's being mean, you should be able to call someone out for being mean. But what's really important is that time period that they come across it, they don't know any of the other stuff that's going on, but the disparity is you know what's going on. So you have an asymmetry of understanding. Like this full depth of what you've been doing. And they come across whatever page and they don't know anything about what you're doing. And then they comment on something, which is a small layer of this very, deep process. And then you feel the need to try and justify to them this whole depth of what you've been doing, despite it not mattering to them, nor in the grand scheme of your existence and your process of development. So understanding that is really important because then you can empathize to an extent why someone might comment something you don't agree with. Now, there is negativity, negativity, I think is kind of, you should call someone out for that. But someone might offer, constructive criticism, let's say, or advice. And you might feel the urge to say, well, here's my resume of all the things I've ever done, and this is why what I'm doing is right. But then you realize you're just self-justifying. All you're doing is just trying to make yourself feel better. And somehow, by making them think that you know something, by telling that person, here's my big resume, in hopes that they are like, oh, my fault, you're correct. You are so smart, Max. Then I feel good about myself. Then what am I actually doing? Right? And so, while it's okay to have some banter and comment back, and especially if someone's being negative, I'm all for someone being like, dude, why are you being mean? I think you should avoid the excessive attempt to justify what you do. And this ties directly into training. Because in training, the same thing happens. You are the only person accountable for yourself, which is really difficult. Because you want to hear from other people maybe that you're doing the right thing, that you're doing a good thing, and that's really warm and cozy, like a nice snug blanket. Oh, they're telling me I'm doing the right thing. But that person who's telling you that something probably doesn't know you like you know you. And this is really important as a coach who works with athletes and as a coach who's training himself now. It's the advice, you should listen to everyone, but you shouldn't take everyone's advice. And because when I work with a coach, because I've gone through this process now, me as an athlete working with another coach, and I too have been a coach, sometimes that coach will say things in my best interest. But my ego or my understanding of why I'm doing stuff might not align with that statement they have. And it's easy for me to be frustrated versus realizing now I'm doing this again as a older, I can't say too old because people get mad that I say old. As an older athlete, someone doing this again after being a coach, you realize that coach is just trying to help you. And they're probably a good coach if they're trying to help you, especially if what they're saying is advice and not necessarily criticism. And it's not negative, but intended to be constructive. As an athlete, listen to it. As an athlete, you don't always have to agree with it or act on it then and there. The times you should have the conversation, though, is if the coach is mandating something, which has not happened to me. Thankfully, I've worked with some awesome coaches. And they deem the drill unsuccessful because you're not doing it a certain way you don't agree with. For example, maybe, which this has not happened, they might try to adjust my shot. And I don't agree that the form or technique that they are suggesting is helpful. But in order for me to get past that drill I'm doing, they're going to make me shoot it a certain way. That's when you as the athlete need to express your voice and your opinion. Because if the coach then is like, no, you have to do it this way, then the coach doesn't really have your best interest at heart to an extent. They have their best interest because they then are imposing their defined model of what success is. Now, there are certain things that as a coach, you might not have any leeway and you need to express that to an athlete. For example, you might say as a coach, you have to squat this way because it's safe. Or you have to do this drill this way because it's safe. It's a safety issue. Not necessarily a technical issue where someone says, well, you have to shoot the ball a certain way with your elbow in a certain direction. And the person's like, I don't agree with that. That's different than task-orientated, where someone says you have to do a task a certain way. So I'm not going to coach you technically. You have to shoot the ball a certain way. But you have to shoot it over someone. That's fine. That's a task. That's like a puzzle piece that you got to resolve. It's the time when you have technical issues that you don't agree with and the coach is mandating it that you should have a conversation with that coach. But aside from that piece, going back to you are the only person who has to justify your results, how you justify and you feel comfortable with what you're doing shouldn't just be based on other people's opinions, because it's easy to go find a coach or find someone who just tell you you're doing great or someone who's going to tell you you're doing poorly. But they don't fully understand the depth of your journey and what you're trying to accomplish, because at the end of the day, this is my bet to make about how I'm going to try and become a professional athlete. I've said it. I only have so much time. I only have so many years, only so much energy. My skills are only so good. I am going to really work on these subset of skills. Play defense. I'm going to try and shoot threes off the move. I'm going to try and do all this stuff. I understand the science of motor learning and skill development. I'm going to apply the methods I believe work best for me, the methods I've seen work on others, and maybe methods that I've read about, which I have not applied to others, nor myself, that I am curious to use for myself. So I have evidence for what I'm choosing and doing. It's a probability analysis, and then I make my bet and say, with the amount of time I have, I'm going to bet this much time is going to be this useful and hopefully yield this kind of result. So that's kind of the framework of thinking around this. And I'll update you guys and give you guys more official updates on how my journey's been going. But I haven't done one of these videos in a while, so I just want to talk about where my mindset has been at throughout this process. And it's really cool. It's gotten popular on social media. It's done well on Instagram and TikTok and all that fun stuff. But it was never made to do, wasn't made to do poorly, I guess. I didn't make intentionally bad videos. I just wanted to share the journey with everyone because I think I can do it. And I think, man, it'd be really cool if I share this from day one. And I do make it, people can reflect on what I did and didn't do. It's kind of like a living documentary or resume. Now, it's gotten pretty popular on certain platforms. And people think I do this stuff just for clout, which is a I wouldn't do this for clout, man. It's tiring. I'm exhausted a lot from this. This has been one of the most difficult physical things I've done in a long time. And also difficult discipline things. A lot of times I don't want to do this. I don't have training partners. I kind of have little cheats I do to help me stay motivated. Like I might put it on Instagram Live, or I might track my shooting with a certain app. I add variety and variability to my stuff. And I'll talk about that in another video. I'll write down some notes of what I want to talk about because I've missed a lot with you guys here. But I'll keep that there for now. The point is, like, this has been a really difficult task, and I appreciate you guys hanging out there with me and watching these videos. And I'll make more of these longer form YouTube videos, and I should be consistent with them. I think maybe 1 to 2 times a week is going to be a goal. I originally thought I could do this every day, which was, I guess, trying to do more than less is a good thing, but it was very hopeful. Wishful thinking, to say the least. So I'll leave you guys there for now. If you guys have comments or questions, let me know. Remember, do stuff for you. Enjoy the process. Have fun. My gosh, I didn't check my audio before this. I sure hope it works. But at this point in time, the video's been done, so we'll just do the deed. I appreciate you guys as always. Take care, and I hope you all enjoy.